I want to help you start an overland YouTube channel that can stand apart from the crowd. I have been doing this whole overland YouTube thing for 5 years now, 3 of which have been my full-time job. And just like all things overlanding, well, gear matters. So I have compiled a list of 10 things you need to start your overland and adventure YouTube channel probably today. Number 1 on my list is power, and something tells me that you expected me to talk about cameras first, and you're right, usually I would. However, this video is sponsored by Anker Solix, so I have moved power to number 1. I have been using the Anker line for a little over a year now, and I'm very excited to add the Anker Solix F2000 to my mobile workspace. As adventure content creators, we need a lot of power, and you will quickly realize how easy other niches have it because they can plug in whatever they want, whenever they want. As overland creators, we need to power so much more than just cameras and tech and creator tech. We have refrigerators, we have lights, electric blankets, showers, and any other camping creature comfort that you can think of carrying, especially if you're trying to do a review about it, because you gotta have that power out here. A portable power source like the Anker Solix F2000 will prove critical for your adventures at 2,024 watt hours, expandable to 4,096 watt hours. This beast will easily last a weekend, and if it starts dying down on you, just plug it in to fast charge it at 1,440 watts. This thing, I am so excited to have it in the truck. With high output USB-C, you can leave your charger and brick at home and charge your laptop and drone batteries directly. The Anker Solix F2000 isn't exactly a lightweight battery, although I will say it's a compact battery for the sheer amount of value that's packed into it. And if you have to move it around, have no fear, it has a pop-out handle and rugged wheels to make transporting it easy, even here at camp. I really mean it when I say that power is crucial to us adventure creators, and the Anker Solix F2000, well, it's up to the task. I have added a link to it in the video description so you can pick one up, and now you have enough power for the job. If you order during their Labor Day sale, you'll save $400 and then get $79 cash back. All of that via the link in the description. Number 2 on the list is a camera. It probably should have been number 1 on the list, but now that the sponsored segment is out of the way, well, you need a camera to start your adventure YouTube channel. You can film on anything from your phone to a DJI Ronin 4D, or even go as far as a Red cinema camera. The range, well, it's endless on cameras. I currently carry 2 4K capable cameras, a more budget sensible one, which I have here in my bag. That is a Sony A7C, and then my main camera that we're filming on right now, which is my workhorse, and it's the Sony A7S III. This is a video first camera, the one I'm filming on right now. It can take photos, but they're like 12 megapixels, so it's really only worth it if I'm using the photo for like a channel thumbnail or a video thumbnail. The Sony A7S series, it's just notorious for their insane low light capability. And this one, the Sony A7S III, it is the best one yet. And we can talk about camera settings and all that stuff in a different video, but in short, this camera, the Sony A7S III, has a dual native ISO, so when shooting at night, you don't get as much of that noise, that kind of visual grain introduced into the image. So this one here, the one I'm filming on now, this is my go-to camera. My second camera, like I was saying, is the Sony A7C. This is my photo first camera. Just last week, Sony announced the A7C II, and while I think that is a great hybrid shooter, I really don't see the need for me to upgrade my kit, because the A7C is really what I use primarily for shooting my night time lapses, and upgrading really won't improve those too drastically right now. Now, when it comes to video, the A7C can shoot 4K video, but it doesn't look quite as good because my A7S III, again, we can talk settings and bit rates and all that, but it's a 10-bit camera. This is an 8-bit camera. So if you are looking at, hey, I want to get kind of more into the color grading side, the a7C II is probably what you should look for. Another option that you could look at is the Sony ZV-E1, which is basically the same as my a7S III, but like an a7C in a more compact body. The thing is, both of those are pretty pricey. So if you are looking to get into this and you're just starting out and you're on a little bit of a budget, the biggest thing I can urge you for YouTube is a mirrorless full frame 4K camera. You want to be able to swap lenses, you want that larger sensor for low light, and you don't want a mirror because mirrored DSLRs, they're just heavier. They're a lot more weight to carry and well, they don't fit as well in a camera bag. The A7C, it is still a great camera and will only cost you around 1,500 bucks, probably even less now that the new one is out. So really do recommend this as kind of your gateway camera body. Plus, like I said, I use this all the time. So even if you start with this and upgrade later to an a7S III, you'll always have this as a backup camera for time lapses or just as a B cam. So now that you've got a camera body, what about a lens? Just squeeze in here. How's this look? I feel like I'm hunched. Number 3 on the list, lenses. If I were starting out and had picked, let's say, the a7C as my base camera, my main camera, I would recommend picking up the 20mm 1.8 as a primary lens. The 20mm 1.8 generally goes for about $900, and if you're lucky, you could pick one up used for about the $600 range. So with this lens and the a7C, you have roughly a $2,000 setup that can shoot 4K, takes decent photos, and will give you that vlog look. Now, as a side note, focal length, it's a taste thing. Some vloggers, they like a tighter focal length, while others like a wider one. Personally, I prefer to shoot as wide as I can. My go-to lens is actually the one I'm filming on now, which is the 16 to 35mm. It's a 2.8, it's a G Master, and that's actually another product like the a7C that Sony just updated last week to a version 2, so you may be able to find the 16 to 35 V1 probably cheaper somewhere used. Just for comparison, this is what the 20mm 1.8 looks like on the a7S III. I do like this lens, I use it all the time, but I still prefer my 16 to 35mm, which, well, this is what that looks like. So this is the 16 to 35mm, it's a 2.8. Exact same camera, these were both filmed on my a7S III. Now, it's not a huge difference, but for vlogging, I really do prefer showing more of what is around me with the wider focal length. When I am not vlogging on a gimbal, the 16 to 35mm, it's my go-to lens. It really helps hide that camera shake with the wide focal length, and that 2.8 helps in the low light. There is an f4 version that you can look at too. I believe it even has stabilization, and you can likely find it cheaper than the V1 of the f2.8. I think with everything going on, it's probably pretty cheap right now. I'll link it in the description for you to shop around. Now, when I'm not filming with my 16 to 35, I do still carry the 20mm. This is compact, it's light, it has a 1.8 f-stop with an external aperture ring. This paired with a proper full frame camera like the a7C or the a7S III will get you that nice, crispy, in focus subject and crushed blurred background that we all love. But achieving that blurred background takes another piece of gear, especially in daylight, even on an overcast day like this. Number 4 on the list, ND filters. And like all camera gear, with ND filters, the sky is the limit. Mine are far more expensive than what I think a beginner channel should be looking at. I use the Polar Pro Peter McKinnon variable NDs, and then I have a whole book of Polar Pro polarized NDs as well. The day I purchased these, it was the day I just feel like I had made it as a YouTuber. And by no means is this me telling you to drop the coin on these if you're just dabbling in YouTube. I think combined, all of my filters are, they're almost $2,000. So as much as that camera setup we were just talking about. But this is me telling you, you do need ND filters. In short, an ND filter acts like sunglasses for your camera. I'm gonna pull one out here. This is scary. There we go. Because we're often out here filming in the bright sun, we need to add these to keep that focal separation we were just talking about with the 20mm lens. By darkening the light before it even touches your lens, ta-da! You can use those 2.8 or even 1.8 aperture lenses without losing that professional look. Some key things to look for when you're shopping for a variable ND filter. You need to make sure that your variable ND has a hard stop. If your ND filter can spin continuously, spin freely, without stopping, you will introduce a nasty polarization. It's like a big black X on your image. And as an example, I picked up this K&N filter for $35 off of Amazon, and it will work for you. It will do the trick to darken the light before it touches your lens. But because you can just infinitely freely spin this, you will quickly introduce that dreaded X if you aren't careful. Now you might be thinking, well, Justin, just use the little marker on the side. There's a little arrow and match it to the dots and you'll be fine. Well, the thing about these cheaper filters, I won't even call them budget, these cheap filters, is that the glass elements, they can slip in their position. So if you're bumping down washboard roads and rough trails, and this is sitting in your bag, that will eventually vibrate this and those will rotate. And I have had that happen many times. So the markers lose reliability and that sucks. So if you go this route, remember that you can't trust the cheap filters and their markers. You always need to do a visibility check. So you need to look at the back of your camera, see what the image is doing, and make sure that that stupid X isn't there. Along those lines, you also want one that is easy to change, and that is a big reason my variable NDs are the Peter McKinnon Signature Edition 2. Ooh, ah, ooh, ah. But the idea is these are all in their own case. So yes, I do have a case for all of my other NDs. I've got tons of them in here. All of these are Polar Pro as well. And these fit nicely in there, but I rarely use these unless I'm using them for photos, honestly. For my videos, I use these because this is contained, it's easy to get to. The filter on this is threaded onto a rear cap. So when this is attached to your lens, the cover acts as a lens cap, which is great. And then if you need to put this on your lens, it's so nice because you don't actually have to ever touch the filter. You're only ever touching the case. So remove the back, you can then thread this onto the lens. Once it's threaded onto the lens, let's pretend, hey, here's your lens. So we'll thread it onto the lens, nice and easy. Out here in the woods, in the desert, I've done this so many places. So it's attached to the lens, then you can remove the lens cap, boom. So this case, this is why that and that it has a stop, a hard stop. But this is why I use these NDs, is really for their case. That said, I do know that Moment and Freewell and others have really high quality filters that aren't gonna cost you an arm and a leg like these ones do. So I'll link a few options down below, but you definitely 100% need ND filters. A bonus trick that I use to prevent purchasing filters twice. All of my filters, this whole book, the Peter McKinnon ones here, they're all 82 millimeter diameter. But I have a lens here that is a 67 diameter lens. So to use my filters on the 20 millimeter lens, I use this little guy. This is a step-up ring. And a step-up ring will save you a ton of money because no one wants to buy 2 or 3 sets for every lens if it's gonna cost you $2,000 for a set of these. So what I recommend doing, buy the biggest size that you know in the lenses you're gonna own. So for me, 82 millimeters, and then step-up rings from your smaller ones so that you can just thread on a step-up ring and then thread the filters into those, boom. You can now use your large filters right here. We're gonna just do this with the cheap Amazon one. I've never threaded this one on a camera before. Here we go. So there you go, 82 millimeter filter on a 67 diameter lens. Bada boom, bada bing. The other nice thing about step-up rings is they're super cheap. These I do buy on Amazon because I haven't found a need for other ones. I know that other ones can have like grips on them so that your filters don't stick to them. That does happen sometimes. Filters will stick, which really sucks, especially when they're expensive. You have this like minor heart attack of, oh my gosh, I have a $300 filter stuck to my $1,000, $2,400 lens. What do I do? So best advice, take it slow. They'll come undone. It just takes a trick. There are tools and things you can use to remove filters from lenses. I don't know. I've had success just given it a try multiple times, just being slow, calming myself down. But step up rings, they're totally worth it when you have expensive filters. Number 5, microphones. If you haven't caught on to this yet, there are 1,000 options for camera gear. And just because I do it one way doesn't mean that it's the right way. But I have been doing it for a little while, and I have found the gear that works for me to have high quality, but also highly portable products. So for years, I have used the Rode VideoMic Pro Plus. Rode VideoMic Pro Plus. This big boy is still my backup mic. I still keep it in the truck. It's a powered microphone. It has a built-in battery. I don't think I can pull it out. It does open. You know what? I've never actually taken the battery out. So basically it's a powered mic with an internal battery, but you don't have to manually turn it on or off. Previous versions, you would have to turn this on and then start recording, which super sucked because you would forget, or you'd forget to turn it off and it would drain the battery. This little guy, it will power on and off using the small amount of phantom power from your camera. Plus, the battery seems to last forever. When this was my daily mic, I charged it maybe once every 3 weeks. And it wasn't because it needed a charge. It was because going longer than 3 weeks on a battery just felt wrong. It is a bulky microphone. And when cutting my kit down to fit more gear in my backpack, I couldn't find a good home for it. So I switched. I don't even think it'll fit in my pocket. So I switched, let's try, to Sony's ECM B1M mic. And this stupid name for a microphone, it is super cool. It's a digital microphone and it is packed with features that all of us want. And it deserves a video of its own. The thing is, both of these microphones, they're expensive. And for my main camera, which is also expensive, I feel it's justified matching the audio quality to the image quality as best as I can. It helps keeping it really nice, and it's all in the Sony family too, so I really do like this. That said, I don't think you need to go out and spend $300 on a microphone right off the bat. So while I'm filming all of my driving shots and I'm in the Jeep and I have my GoPro going, I use a Rode VideoMic Go 2. This is a $100 mic and it doesn't need a battery. And honestly, I think it sounds pretty darn good for what you're getting. I could probably film most of this on this guy here and it would be great. Now, if you do want to get fancy, DJI has their wireless mics, which is what I've been using for this entire video. So I can walk away from the camera. I can grab them out of my backpack and I can walk back and there's no loss in audio quality. DJI mics, I think that they are an excellent option for a lav mic. They do come in a single now, so you won't have to buy a double and only use one like I do quite a bit. I do keep the double because sometimes I want to have that interview where someone else can wear one. But yeah, you can just, you can buy one now and keep it in the box. A big reason I'm using these today is for practice. I really just want to be better at keeping my audio crisp while I'm walking around. I also have my jacket, which is pretty noisy. So I'm hoping by the time I've edited all of this that I've got it to sound pretty good. They're packed with all kinds of features and they can sound really clean with the right amount of work. That being said, don't expect these to sound perfect like an on-camera mic right out of the gate. That Sony mic, if I slap it on the camera, it sounds amazing right away. These, they take some tweaking, but it's fine because with the right software, which we're going to talk about in a minute, it makes it pretty easy. So before we talk about software and all that fun stuff, here is another reason why I switched to the smaller microphone. Number 6 is a gimbal. Usually I would say you don't need a gimbal, but as gimbal tech has advanced exponentially in the last few years, it is worth mentioning the DJI RS3 Mini. Initially, when this gimbal came out, I overlooked it. I thought it was just a beginner gimbal and I didn't think about it for, at least a few months. Then, while I was on a trip with Sean from The Story Till Now, I saw him using it as a vlog tripod and I realized it is the best gimbal on the market for adventure creators because of its versatility. Paired with an A7C or the A7S III or even the new Sony ZV-E1 that everybody seems to be using instead of the A7S III. Anyways, and then the 20mm 1.8, this small gimbal, it's easy to pack and it serves a multi-function purpose. So you can do B-roll or vlog tripod. And as I hinted a second ago, balancing this gimbal is another reason why I stopped using the larger Rode mic and opted for the smaller Sony mic. While it isn't feather light, it is the first gimbal that I feel comfortable turning around to vlog with. It has one really weird issue though. The mounting plate really sucks, super sucks. It doesn't work with my preferred Peak Design base plates, which is a big deal. As you become a professional content creator, you will find that keeping one universal base plate on all of your camera gear matters. You want to quickly be able to switch from a tripod to a gimbal to handheld to whatever else that needs a base plate, and you don't want to have to use any tools. DJI got this wrong here, and you have to use their base plate with this gimbal. Luckily, Small Rig fixed DJI's stupid mistake, and they have an addable mounting plate that works with the Peak Design Arca Swiss plates. You just slip it in there and tighten it up. Super easy. So it saves us from needing to use any tools or stupid base plates. The other thing it does is it keeps it even smaller because the DJI base plates are larger. And there you go. So now you don't need any tools when you need to switch from tripod to drone to, not drone, tripod to gimbal to handheld to whatever else. The DJI RS3 Mini, this sucker rocks, and balanced with a small camera, you could 100% vlog on this all day. This one probably should have been number 6, but we're gonna talk about tripods next. So hold on, I'm not even gonna move the camera, no more fancy, yeah, number 7 is tripods. How's that for a transition? Speaking of tripods, they're a dime a dozen. You can find a cheap one on Amazon, I'm sure for less than $100, or probably even just next to nothing. Or you can head to B&H Photo and you can spend $1,000. The thing is, tripods, we need them because we're gonna set them down, we're gonna talk to them like I'm talking to you, we're gonna drive past them. We need them as adventure creators. I prefer the Peak Design tripods. I like how small they pack down, like this thing gets super, super small. This is my older one, I've had this one forever. But I also like how quickly they set up. You just kind of grip them and rip them. So you can get all legs open at once and extend this sucker. So it's good. It's really good. It's quick to set up, quick to tear down. It's perfect in many ways, but imperfect in others. But the thing is, it fits my needs. I really do like this tripod. I think for the type of content I create and not having to carry a huge tripod, it's a big deal. The thing is, the tripod head, the ball head as we call them in the industry. I'm stupid, don't listen to me, or do, I don't know, you're here. Anyways, the ball head, it takes a little getting used to. It's not great for vertical shots. I really struggle with that, but as a video first creator, I rarely shoot vertically. So that's really nice. They do have a carbon fiber version, but I couldn't justify dropping that much money on it. I think if I were doing more hiking or bike camping and stuff like that, it would make sense. But because I'm not, and my gear is in a truck, it doesn't make sense to spend that kind of money. It doesn't mean I don't want it. I do, because I love gear like the rest of us, but I could get 2 tripods for the price of 1 by buying their aluminum versions. So that's what I use. The tripod you're on right now is just another one of these. I literally have 2 of them. It's my favorite. This one though, I do keep the head short on it. And I do that so that I can use this one for my time lapses. So I can open the legs wider and use this one in low mode. And that's how I set my A7C up on this for time lapses while it's small. So there you go. Number 8, can't believe number 8 is this low on the list. Where did I put it? It's on the other side. So number 8 is the drone. And I am sure you expected this one. But you probably didn't expect it to be this low on the list. I guess neither did I. But drone tech, it has exploded recently. It's crazy to see how far they've come. When I started on YouTube, the drone we were all talking about, the dream drone, was the DJI Inspire. So the Inspire one with the X5 camera. It was a 5-figure camera and drone combo. I think they were $12,000. It was something ridiculous. But it felt like talking about a supercar. It was just so far out of reach. And now you can get that exact same tech and that same size sensor in the Mavic 3, the Mavic 3 Classic, and the Mavic 3 Pro for as little as $1,500. It's bonkers how far we've come. I currently shoot on the Mavic 3. This is the one with the double lens. You can't see it because I use ND filters. But this has the 1x and the 7x zoom. It is an insane image quality, and I mean, it's what, just a few years old, and it has already been updated to the Mavic 3 Pro, which includes a 3x lens that doesn't change the quality. So like if I go from 1x to 7x, it uses different sensors. The 3x and 1x on the new one, they're the same quality. So it has really tempted me to upgrade. But like my A7C, the Peter McKinnon ND filters, the 16-35 lens, and everything else that's just come out recently, I feel like it's not a big enough jump to justify the cost. Even if I were to sell this and make the cost, you know, a difference of $200 or $300, it'd probably be more like $500, honestly. I don't know if that's worth it for me, so I can't justify that price change just yet because it's just a few notches better than what I currently have. There are a ton of drone options out there. If you're starting out, autonomy is your friend. Sensors are your best friend. There are a lot of drones that are cheaper that don't have like side sensors. You need side sensors. If you're flying anywhere near trees, rocks, anything like that, sensors are going to save you in the end. Drones have a nasty habit of being stupid. Even my Mavic 3 threw a fit on a recent trip. It didn't want to land. It came down, hovered right before it should have landed. I was trying to get it to land, decided it wanted to drift, and then eventually fell off the truck. I had to use DJI Care and replace it, and now I have this. Buy DJI Care, future you will thank you. If you're not looking at a DJI drone, there are other options out there. I do have a non-DJI drone that was sent to me. Still kind of playing with it. It's the Hover X1. I don't have it on me right now, but I'll show it off a little bit in a future video. So drones, I think you're gonna end up needing a drone. We all love drones. Number 9 on the list, a camera bag. I love bags, and I can't believe this one is this low on the list. I feel like all of these things are important, so I don't know if the order really matters. I feel like I set it up in an order that matters, but then I just realized I put gimbal before tripod. You should probably get a tripod before a gimbal. But I have a lot of camera bags, and I feel especially equipped to talk about them since I have so many, and I have used so many. My go-to bag right now is the Peak Design 45 liter. This bag, it's enormous. It's bigger than my head. No, it's really big, which can be a downside, but for me, with their large camera cube, I really like it. I have room for everything. I'm not hurting for room to carry anything at all. I could carry my 2 camera bodies, my lenses, my drone with the controller, batteries, chargers, and everything else, and just really, the only thing I don't carry in here, I think, is the DJI RS3 Mini, which I haven't put in any backpacks. Although, I would like to figure it out, so that might happen here soon. The Peak Design bag, it is built like a tank. You can barely tell that this one here is over 4 years old. I picked it up on Black Friday in 2018, back when I had the Tacoma. I have loved this bag. Now, in the time that I've had this bag, I've also tossed around the Peter McKinnon bags from Nomadic, and you might have even seen my face in their current Instagram ads. And I like them too. Nomadic did a great job, but a few quirks have led me back to the Peak Design bag. I do like that on the Peter McKinnon bag, I can easily carry my MacBook Air and my iPad Pro for like dual display editing while I'm here in the camper. The smaller Peter McKinnon bag, it's good. It could be better. I've noticed if you watch a lot of like YouTube bag reviews, a lot of guys are talking about how they modify that bag in the way that it's not really designed or intended to be used, to use it their way. And I think that's the problem with that bag, that we all had to get really creative and come up with ways to change it. And then by doing so, it doesn't quite work the way you want. I don't know. I've been using it as my daily when I'm on small outings, but I'm going to spend some time with the Peak Design smaller bags just to give a fair comparison. As of right now, though, my daily is the Peak Design 45 liter. It's really good. I do think when I'm talking smaller bags, I'm going to get the medium camera cube for the 45 liter. And that way I can like put it into shrink mode for those smaller video projects as well. So basically, I'm saying that a camera bag comparison video is imminent, but for now, I'm back on the 45 liter as my go-to. We've done it. We have reached number 10 on the list, which is editing software. I have used every major editing software here on my channel. I knew Final Cut the best when I was just starting out. I taught it at Apple for a good 7 years. And then Peter McKinnon came out of nowhere around 2016 and made Adobe Premiere look just amazing. And it's because he's just crazy talented and he knew it really well. And so I was like, that's the best option on the market. And he was obviously a huge inspiration for me even starting a YouTube channel. And then at that time, I felt like Premiere was the YouTuber's go-to until all of these new cameras came out that shot in 4K with 10-bit color and then high frame rates. And then Premiere Pro, well, it just couldn't keep up. So I upgraded my laptop to the M1 Max and I switched back to Final Cut Pro for all of that native Apple editing. And it was a great experience and it was good until DaVinci started dropping updates that just left everything else in the dust. I mean, DaVinci 18.5 is amazing. Not to mention, DaVinci is free to start with. So you don't have to pay anything. There's no subscription, there's no upfront, what is it, like $200, $300 for Final Cut? There's none of that. And I am by no means a DaVinci expert, but I'm working at it. And every day I learn a new method to speed up my editing or improve my look that I just flat out couldn't achieve in Final Cut or in Premiere. My advice, don't spin your wheels learning anything else. Seriously, DaVinci, it's both Mac OS and Windows friendly, and that free price, it's good. It's got all the professional tools that are gonna make your videos look awesome. It is the only software you should be looking at, period. So as a final note, gear will always be replaced. Every year, a new camera comes out, a new lens, a gimbal, a drone, whatever. All of the stuff I talked about in this video isn't even the latest and greatest stuff. I use gear that's a few years old, and I think it's good. It serves me well. And yes, you could spend even more money than I did, which just blows my mind because I feel like I've spent so much money on camera gear. But the thing is, you don't need to. In fact, you could spend less and still do great here on YouTube. I have friends that are just killing it, and they have not invested nearly what I have in my camera gear. The thing is, the best way to grow is to start. If making adventure videos is your passion, then I leave you with this quote from Seth Rogen.
If you don't quit, you might make it. And if you quit, you definitely won't.
The best way to succeed on YouTube, it isn't gear, it's passion and determination. Best of luck on your channel. I'm gonna be talking a lot more about this stuff here because it's my passion and I'm determined to get better at it. So that's my advice for you. So that does it for me. If you like this video, please like this video. If you have a question, leave me a comment. And if you wanna hang out again, well, make sure to subscribe. Until next time, I'm Justin B. McBride. It just started raining. Good thing I just ended the video. A7C getting put away. Oh, everything's falling over on me. Gotta get off the mountain. Yikes. Totally worth it though. What a day.